Now. Legal experts are shocked. They're shocked by Ginni Thomas text messages. Here we go again. Ginni Thomas is in the limelight. This is Clarence Thomas' long-term marriage wife. Okay, they've been married for many years, and Clarence Thomas has sat on the Supreme Court all these years. And the legal experts are calling this an extraordinary level of corruption of Ginni Thomas QAnon text between Mark Meadows. Okay, so let's get into this. So the legal experts, they are shocked. They were shocked on Thursday about revelations that the Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol obtained text messages sent between Ginni Thomas, wife of Supreme Court Clarence Thomas, and then White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Now, Watergate reporter Bob Woodard reported on Thursday, Virginia Ginni Thomas, a conservative activist married to Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, repeatedly pressed White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to pursue unrelenting efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election in a series of urgent. Now, it wasn't just text messages, they were urgent text messages, text exchanges in the critical weeks after the vote. Now, urgent is an adjective because it's describing what type of text messages that they were. According to the copies of the messages obtained by the Washington Post, and CBS News. Now, the story was matched by CNN. Now, you know, I already did a video on Ginni Thomas and these text messages between her and Mark Meadows. Now, I believe that Ginni Thomas needs to be held accountable and continue to be investigated. And Clarence Thomas needs to recuse himself, and he really needs to be unseated. This is my opinion now, you all. You know that I always place a disclaimer at the end of my videos, and I will be giving you that disclaimer at the end. Now, the messages, 29 in all, reveal an extraordinary pipeline between Virginia, and I'm going to call it Ginni Thomas, who goes by Ginni, and presidential Donald Trump's top aide during a period when Trump and his allies were vowed to go to the Supreme Court in an effort to negate the election results, the Post reported. Now, I agree that I'm going to say this about Donald Trump. Donald Trump hates to lose. That's all there is to it. Fair and square, he lost, and there was no cheating in no election. And that's my opinion, whether you like Donald Trump or not. I don't believe there was no cheating in the election, but I do believe that there was some cheating going on how he got in there. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, that's my opinion. Okay, so the messages which do not directly reference Justice Thomas or the Supreme Court show for the first time how Ginni Thomas used her access to Trump's inner circle to promote and seek to guide the president's strategy to overturn the election results. Yeah, she used her access. She used her access because she knew she had access because she's married to Clarence Thomas. And Clarence Thomas actually probably did know about these behaviors and the actions of his wife. He can say he didn't. That's probably why he was in the hospital, because this is some strong stuff, you guys. And he just got out of the hospital. You know, that's some shocking stuff. And sometimes, you know, the shock will send us our body into some type of situation. And I'm glad that, you know, he's out of the hospital, because I don't wish no death or nothing bad or ill will on anybody. I certainly don't wish that at all. But what I am saying is we can't keep letting folks get away with stuff. And when we talk about Ginni Thomas and Clarence Thomas, you know, there's a conflict of interest here. I do believe Clarence knew some things, Clarence Thomas, and Ginni used her access. Yes, Ginni, she did. You know she did. She has access to get involved and, you know, walk her way through some things. And so she used her access to promote, you know, and seek to guide the president's strategy to overturn the election results. You know, that's a crime right there. And I could be wrong, but that's a crime right there. And so therefore, she's right along with Pillow Man, you know, My Pillow, and all that other stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? And so how receptive and grateful Meadows said he was to receive her advice. So he thought that she had some good advice to give him. And why do you think that he thought she had some good advice? Is it because Clarence Thomas sits on the Supreme Court? Is that why? We don't know why. But Robert Costa, who co-wrote the Post story with Woodard, wrote, Woodard and I both see this as an unprecedented entanglement. This is an entanglement. You know, I did a video on entanglement before. I wonder if you all have seen that video. But anyway, entanglement, because this is an entanglement. It really is. You got Mark Meadows, Ginni, Clarence, whoo, Donald Trump. They all talking about all this stuff with the election. An entanglement. It's an entanglement between a top official in the executive branch and a spouse of a justice. Now, that's where the actual entanglement is. But there's a lot of stuff surrounding how it got to become an entanglement. Because, you know, there had to be some other stuff that will, you know, emotionally push you to do some things you should not be doing. So they are privately discussing strategy, lawyers managing White House staff, and conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories. Legal experts quickly weighed in on the bombshell reporting, which came as Clarence Thomas may or may not still be hospitalized. Well, I understood that he went home because I saw an article that he had went home. So he's not supposed to be in the hospital anymore. I mean, you know, but that's the article that I saw that he had left the hospital, I think, on Friday, Thursday or Friday. So Adam Blickstein, who worked in public affairs for the Department of Justice, alluded to the situation when he noted, take a breath. We now have more information about Ginni Thomas. Illegal, see, this is illegal attempt to overturn the 2020 election than we do about Clarence Thomas' current medical condition. See, only thing we knew about Clarence Thomas is that he was admitted in the hospital and that it wasn't COVID. He had some type of infection, bacteria infection, but it wasn't COVID. One of the most important questions in politics right now, what did Clarence Thomas know and when did he know it? He asked. Now, let me tell you something. I still stand on this, and I said it. I believe Clarence Thomas did know something. Now, how much he knew about it, we don't know. Because, you know, he's always been the one to assent. He's the only one. When the man wanted prayer before they gave him the lethal injection, he was an inmate on death row. He said no. You know, he didn't want him to have prayer. And then, you know, there was another thing that he was against. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think it was against something with Donald Trump. But, you know, at the end of the day, Clarence Thomas is against a lot of stuff. And so I wonder where his faith is at. I wonder, do he really believe in God? And I'm not trying to attack his faith, but I wonder, do you believe in God, Clarence Thomas? Because obviously you don't if you think that you can stand in the way of somebody asking and receiving prayer. You cannot stand in the way what God has already ordained. Prayer is what we're supposed to do, and prayer is what we do, and you cannot stand in the way. You are not God, and to sit here and say that someone does not need prayer is very, very egregious and it's wrong. And for you to think that you can stand in the way of the calling of the true ministers and apostles and preachers and bishops and ministers and priests, you can't and evangelists, you can't stand in the way of that. And you saw that the judge ruled it down, and therefore he was able to receive prayer because the calling is what it is. And Clarence Thomas, you don't do any calling. And this is why we need to really talk about these things. And so therefore, I believe Clarence Thomas did know something. How much did he know? I don't know. And when did he know it? I don't know. But guess what? Maybe they will continue to investigate and we can find out when he knew it and how much he knew. So election lawyer Rick Hasen described this as astounding. And political scientist Norman Ornstein responded, Clarence Thomas should resign. An attorney and Daily Beast columnist, Wajahat Ali, did not think Speaker Nancy Pelosi should wait for Thomas to resign, counseling that Democrats should impeach Clarence Thomas. Woo-wee, they asking for it. They want an impeachment now. And former public defender Kumar Roy agreed, saying, impeach Clarence Thomas. So you think that we're going to have a chant out here? Impeach Clarence Thomas? He don't need, I'm telling you, he needs to be unseated. Clarence Thomas does not need, look, because if we're going to get to the bottom of these things and we're going to do the right thing and get to the meat of the matter and the root of the problem, then sometimes people that have sat on in these seats for so long and kind like Mitch McConnell, he needs to be unseated too. Out of there doing them people in Kentucky wrong. He votes against everything that's going to help people. He votes against humanity. And the folks still in Kentucky don't know any better. They codependent on abusive behavior. So that's why they keep voting with a man that don't need to be in office. any longer. And then you got Clarence Thomas. He's always going against something. And he went against prayer for somebody else that was asking for prayer that don't have nothing really to do with him. This man has a right to ask for prayer. Nobody's condoning the murders and killings and what he done, but he has a right to ask for prayer. We are glad when people repent of their sins and ask for prayer before they go on to wherever they gonna go. We got to remember Jesus on the cross. Clarence Thomas, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And I still believe that you was harassing Anita Hill. I do believe that. Okay, so the Watchdog Group Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, CREW, that's the acronym for Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. This seems like a big deal. It seems like a big deal. Let me tell you, it is a big deal. The Supreme Court voted 8-1 that Trump couldn't block the January 6th committee from getting doxxed. Let me tell you, guess whose vote it was? One. Now, everybody else voted, that he couldn't block it. But guess whose one vote it was? And I said earlier I couldn't remember it was something to do with Trump. But guess whose one vote it was? Put it in the comments when this video is over. I'm telling you, go off in the comments. Guess whose vote? It was 8-1. Clarence, you need to be unseated. You know why? Because you're not voting correctly. You're not voting for the good of people. When I say correctly, for humanity, for the good of people. Clarence Thomas, you are not voting for humanity and the good of people. You have lost your way, and you have allowed Ginni Thomas, your wife, Virginia, aka Ginni Thomas, to just distort your way of thinking, Clarence Thomas, because you was the one that voted against this. 8-1, you was the one. The one vote against was Clarence Thomas. Ain't that something? And Mark Meadows turned over text from Thomas's wife, Ginni Thomas, urging efforts to overturn the election. What else was afraid would come out? What else are they afraid is going to come out of this situation? Crew wondered. The crew, again, is what I just said. It's a watchdog group, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. See, let me tell you something. We need to stand up. Stand up and be counted for what's going on. Stand up and be counted. We are going to stand up that Clarence Thomas needs to be unseated. And Ginni Thomas needs to be investigated. And they may need to prosecute Ginni. See, all this while, Ginni, you've been walking around with this entitlement attitude, arrogancy, Ginni, thinking you all that because you married to a black man, and you think you took away a black man from a black woman. But Clarence Thomas, let me tell you something, Ginni. He did do what he did to Anita because he was liking Anita, and Anita wasn't liking him because she already seen who he was. So maybe nobody else wanted Clarence but you. Now, okay, Ginni? A former Southern District of New York prosecutor, Richard Signorelli, wondered if Ginni Thomas referenced her husband in the text messages. Guess what? She is nuts. I would bet that the best friend referencing her text is her husband, he said. My, really? Jane Mayer, who profiled Ginni Thomas in January for the New Yorker, agreed. After talking with her best friend, which is how the Thomases refer to one another. Thomas, you really do need to get off that seat, Thomas. Y'all need to, you know what? Maybe they will impeach Thomas because the best, you see what they're saying here? Now, this is allegedly, but you know what? It sounds believable to me, but it's alleged. And so we have to keep, reading the updates, and hopefully this stuff pans out. But them text messages, they're there. The Facebook posts, they were there. She deleted those. So why do you need to delete Facebook posts? See, I always say if you do something, stand on what you believe on and accept your consequences for what you say you believe in. So if you believe in all of that you was doing, Ginni, you wouldn't have had to delete those Facebook posts. Okay? Okay. So wife militates relentlessly for the president's chief of staff to overturn a presidential election, Mayor wrote. You know she's a right wing. She sits on that committee. Man, Ginni. See, you never know. But Slate legal correspondent Mark Joseph Stern was shocked when he went through the text messages. Shocked. I mean, it's a shocking. This is people, legal experts are shocked. This is an extraordinary level of corruption. And we got Clarence Thomas sitting on the Supreme Court. See, people, real colors come out when they don't like something. See, a lot of people, real colors came out with this Trump election thing. Real colors came out. Folks, colors of who they really are will come out. I'm telling you, people. And this showed it. And it says Ginni Thomas urged Mark Meadows to overturn the 2020 election by any means necessary. She said by any means necessary, people. Any means necessary. So that meant it didn't matter who she hurt, who she harmed, how many people were going to die up there on the attack on the Capitol, how many people were going to take a loss, how many people are going to be held accountable for their crimes and prosecuted, people that had batteries put in their back. She needs to go to jail just like the rest of the ones that was up there. She provoked this, she instigated this, and she needs to be prosecuted, you people. So she urged Mark by any means necessary. While her husband was ruling on cases attempting to overturn the election. See, Clarence Thomas stood with his wife. He stood by her even in her wrongdoing. See, I know that the marriage vows, for better or for worse, or life do us part. But let me tell you something, people. If it's going to mean my freedom, I can't stand when you're wrong. I can't stand by folks when they wrong. Clarence Thomas, what is wrong with you? Because see, you was ruling on cases attempting to overturn the election. What your wife is by any means necessary. A true extraordinary level of corruption. He wrote, look at the absolutely deranged conspiracy theories Ginni Thomas pushed. She pushed some conspiracy theories that were deranged. And she always trying to act like she just so smart. See, I told y'all, you know what? It's like this, I got me a black man type of attitude. Lady, don't nobody care. Do not nobody care, Miss Ginni Thomas, whatever, Thomas, excuse me. Thomas, I don't want to batch up your name when I know your name. Miss Virginia, aka Ginni Thomas, don't nobody care if you married to Clarence Thomas. Nobody wanted him but you anyway. You probably would have hurt folks, and you probably wanted to hurt Anita. But see, you tried to come out and say Anita needs to apologize to your husband. Ain't nobody apologizing to Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas wanted Anita, but she didn't want him. That's how that went down. That is how it went down, Ginni. And I'm saying that it went down like that, Ginni. Deranged conspiracy. She pushed them, y'all. Fringe doesn't begin to cover it. She promoted conspiracy theories from a Sandy Hook truther plus QAnon stuff. That's what she did, y'all. And I'm here to tell the story for y'all. And this is all in an article. It's going to be right here for you to get it. See right there, Salon is bringing it. I'm trying to tell you. But again, my opinion is not necessarily the opinions of mine or people that visit my channel. Okay? And we getting ready to get to the disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So you all, thank you for tuning in. Please like the video. Please share the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. And please leave your respectful comments below. Go off in the comments and let me know what you think. Now, someone told me on another video that I did with Ginni Thomas, they said, lock her up, lock her up, lock her up, lock her up, because they believe she should be locked up. Now, I don't know what you all think, but you know what? I know that everyone is, innocent until proven guilty. That's what they say. But, we don't always get that. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. But Ginni Thomas, Clarence Thomas, Clarence, you need to be unseated, and Ginni, you do need to be going up. They need to go ahead and hold you accountable, Ginni, for you participating and by any means necessary. See, so we just need to keep on following up on these stories, and I'll bring these stories to you as they come. So God bless you all on today. Bye.